are going to approach for the last chapter of our syllabus, that is Evans Tries an O Level, written by Collins Dexter. In Evans Tries an O Level, the author Colin Dexter describes how Evans proves that all attempts of the prison officers like Jackson and Stephens and good for a giggle, governor failed to stop him from escaping. All precautions have been made to see the O-level German examination in the prison arranged for Evans does not provide him with any means of escape. But in spite of all this, it is Evans who had the last laugh. That means he ultimately was successful to escape. So the summary of the chapter: it was early March. The secretary of the examination board receives a call from the Oxford prison. A chap called Evans started night classes in O-level German last September. He is very keen to get some sort of academic qualification. The governor requires about the procedure. The secretary asks him not to worry about it. He will be sending him all the forms and other necessary things. He inquires about Evans. The governor assures him that there is no record of violence against Evans. It is decided to examine him in his prison cell. One of the persons from St. Mary Mag is arranged to invigilate. The prison officers call him Evans the Break. He had escaped. So his name was Evans the Break. The officers called him. He had escaped from prison 3 times. At 8:30 in the morning, Evans had 2 visitors. Jackson was the senior prison officer of D Wing. He and Evans had already become worn enemies. Stephens was a burly, surly officer. Evans' face is unshaven. He wears a dirty red and white bobble hat upon his head. They make sure that his razor and nail scissors are taken away. He is given half an hour to smarten himself. McCleary carries a brown suitcase. It contains all the necessary papers, including a sealed question paper envelope. The 2-hour examination is scheduled to start at 9:15 a.m. Stephens begins to small square tables and 2 hard chairs and places them opposite to each other. They are taking no chances with Evans. Start McCleary is greeted by Jackson at Dewing in the prison. It will be very difficult for Evans to make another break. He is sitting in a locker cell and all the prison officers are on high alert. The invigilator's duty is to ensure that the strictest silence is observed. The governor is worried about McCleary. If he has bought something, even a jackknife, Evans can hold him hostage with such a weapon. The examinee and the invigilator have already been introduced by Stephens. McCleary asked Evans to write his name and index number on the paper at 9:40 a.m. The assistant secretary speaks to the governor. They had forgotten to place a correction slip in the examination package. Jackson fears whether the phone call is fake or some signal, but everything seems to be alright. Even sits starting straight in front of him, holding his pen between his lips, and opposite him sits McCleary. At 10:50 a.m., Evans wants a blanket round his shoulders as he is feeling cold. At 10:51 a.m., Stephens is surprised to see a grey blanket wrapped around Evans' shoulders. Stephens wonders if Evans is not planning anything in the blanket. At 11:20 a.m., McCleary informs Evans that only 5 minutes are remaining. At 11:22 a.m., Governor wants to speak to Stephens. He wants him to accompany McCleary to the main gate. At 11:25 a.m., McCleary announces, "Stop writing, please." Stephens walks with McCleary to the main gates. Two abnormalities can be noticed here. McCleary's Scots accent seems broader than ever. His long black overcoat is reaching almost to his knees. So these are the two abnormalities which could be seen. Stephens wants to take just one last look at Evans. He makes him way to Evans' cell. He opens the peep hole once more. "Oh no, Christ, no," Stephen cries. In Evans' chair, a man is lying. His blanket is slipping from his shoulders. His tufted hair is awash with red blood. The man is McCleary. Stephens shouts loudly for Jackson. McCleary gives the long moan and tries to speak. He asks them to get the police. He knows where Evans has gone. Almost immediately, sirens start sounding. And within a minute, McCleary, with Jackson and Stephens supporting him on either side, is greeted by the governor. McCleary shows him a photocopied sheet cleverly superimposed over the last page of the question paper. The governor reads, "Don't hit him too hard. Remember, he's a minister. And don't overdo the Scots accent when McCleary cries." Then Elsfield Way, Evans has gone there. The governor is furious. He asks who took Evans to the main gates. Stephens says that he acted as he was directed. The governor is angry again. He calls Stephens blithering idiot. It was not he who rang them at 11:20 a.m. He also tells Jackson that his skull's empty. He was Jackson who had spent 2 hours in Evans' cell and spotted them that there was nothing hidden there. And yet Evans managed to conceal a false beard, a pair of spectacles, and also a sort of weapon with which he had given McCleary such a terrible blow. The governor read the last line of the paper left by Evans in German. "Make your way to Neugraben." The governor lights a cigarette. It is a beautifully laid plan. He has left that question paper behind. Perhaps he was careless to leave that clue. He is sure that Mr. Clever Evans will be back inside his cell again. Then information comes that McCleary has spotted Evans driving off along the Elsfield Way. The governor asked Carter if he has managed to get McCleary to hospital properly. He is told that McCleary is in the Radcliffe Hospital. A few minutes later, the governor rings the hospital. The reply comes that no one named McCleary is there. The ambulance was sent to Elsfield to pick him up, but he vanished. A quarter of an hour later, they find S. McCleary securely bound and gagged in his study in Board Street. He has been there since 8:15 a.m. And by that time, everyone is in the prison knows that has happened. What has happened? It is not Evans impersonating McCleary who has walked out. It is Evans impersonating McCleary who has stayed in. Evans walked up to the reception desk of the Golden Lion Hotel. He had to do a long and tricky operation. He was lucky that Jackson did not take his hat off. Sticking a beard was one of the worst things. Evans now collects his key. He asked for an early morning call at 6:45 a.m. He himself whistles softly to him. He thanks God that everything has gone beautifully smoothly. He unlocks his bedroom door and then stands frozen at the spot. Sitting on the bed is the last man uh, in the world that Evans has expected. He was the governor. Evans is visibly shaken. For several minutes, there is utter silence. He is beaten at his own game. He tells that the correction slip killed two little birds with a single stone. It gave the name of the hotel for Evans and the exact time the exam started. Then Evans asked how the governor could locate the hotel in which he was staying. The clue came from the paper itself. Evans wrote index number 313, center number 271. The six-figure reference 313271 landed him there. The governor stands up. He asked Evans to tell him how he got all that blood to pour over his head. Evans replies that it was pig's blood from the slaughterhouse, but to stop it from clotting, one has to mix actual blood and a chemical. In the end, the governor asked how he could manage to plan all this business. Evans replies that he has many friends. The German teacher is one of them. A silent prison officer handcuffs the recaptured Evans. He does not resist. Two men clamber into the back seat of the prison van. The governor says farewell to him like a good old friend. The prison van turns right onto the Oxford Road. The silent prison officer unlocks Evans' handcuffs. He asks the driver to move on to Newbury. It won't take them long to find out. Thus, Evan moves on to freedom, proving that the governor was a fool and only good for a giggle. The man who removes his handcuffs is Evan's own man. So, this is the summary of the story. It will be better if you go through the entire chapter to know it in a better way. Even tries an O level, I know that you will find some difficulty to understand first of all, but once you start reading it and you finish it once or twice, you will be glad to understand the entire thing. Here the time and dates which are mentioned, these are very important because these are some codes which have been used, and you have to understand the supreme technique which Evans has used. So, without wasting time, what you should do now, you should carry on your understanding the chapter, and I hope you will be understanding it properly, and after that you will get question answers on the basis of the chapter which you will have to revise for your final exam. Thank you. Have a good day.